So the first of the two big games today in the WNBA was the Chicago Sky against the Connecticut Sun. The Sky had just beat the only other undefeated team at the time, the New York Liberty, and the Sun are, well, the only undefeated team as of right now. But honestly, when it comes to this game, the Sky played well. They were ahead for quite a lot of this game. They were in the game for quite a lot of the game. But the team that has more experience, the better team pulled it off in the end. But it's still an impressive performance from the Sky. Again, you're looking at arguably the best team in the WNBA right now in the Connecticut Sun. And they beat the Liberty. I know the Liberty lost to the Lynx tonight, but they still are they're undefeated. They're 5-0. But Angel Reese, another really solid game. She did slow down in the second half, though. There's no question about that. Angel Reese started off on fire. Considering she's shooting 30% from the field, hitting 3 of her first 4 shots, or hitting her first 3 shots, was nice. She hit a jump shot. Angel Reese hit a jump shot. But where Angel Reese is still excelling is the defensive end. She did a really good job on DeWanna Bonner. Late in the game, obviously, Bonner did take over like a vet. A vet should, to be honest. These are rookies at the end of the day. But a promising performance by Reese and a really promising performance from the Sky. They looked good. They legitimately looked good. And that's when you're looking at these type of games, you're like, okay, it's a long season. It's not about going and winning today. It's really just seeing how well you're going to be for the rest of the year. And I'm not going to lie, to say that Chicago have dogs, could not be closer to an accurate statement. They work their ass off. I think the Connecticut Sun did a much better job than the Liberty of dealing with the intensity of the Chicago Suns or Chicago Sky. Mainly because, well, they kind of knew what was coming. I think teams might have underestimated them after the first 2 games against Dallas, especially the Liberty, and they destroyed the Liberty. Regardless of what it was on the scoreboard, they just completely outplayed them physically. So that was one thing, and the Sun obviously were prepped for that a little bit. But one thing the Sun did really well, or the Sky did well, was they hung with it, and Mabry is a baller. Mabry is an absolute baller. And then in the third quarter, everybody saying stuff like, you've got, what's the names? You've got people going after Caitlin Clark. I mean, you can say the same thing about Angel Reese. Second place in the MVP voting last year, clotheslined her basically. The ball was there in the air and just took her down by the neck in what was, without question, a disqualifying foul. Out of frustration, got Angel Reese by the neck basically. Angel Reese was there and just dragged her to the ground by the neck. That is, without question, a flagrant. And fair play to Angel Reese. She's obviously getting in these players' heads. Thomas, up to that point, hadn't even had a great game. She was 9-6-6 in 23 minutes. So she hadn't had the greatest game up to that point. And Angel Reese, whoever she was put on, did a good job defensively. She did cool down. I will say, she without question cooled down as the game went on as far as her offense is concerned. She had 13 points, but the vast majority of that was in the first half. But still, 13 points. Defensive rebounding wise, was a bit of a struggle for Reese. I think, did she have 4 boards and 3 were offensive, I think? She had 5 rebounds and 3 were offensive. 1 was obviously late in the game. But again, she's getting to the line, and as well as that, she is absolutely she's hitting the free throws. After the first 2 of 8 game, I was like, Jesus, this isn't great. And she's hit her first jump shot, I think, for the season, which is nice. But the Connecticut Sun continue to look good. And the fact that it was a tie game of 69 without their best player, and they pulled it off, just shows again the level of this team. Carrington is legit. DeWanna Bonner had not had a great game up to that point. Angel Reese had done a really good job on her defensively. And late enough in the game, they were starting to switch a little bit and putting Williams on Bonner. I didn't really like the matchup. I hear the commentators in the game saying, they need to switch this more because the Sun are getting a couple of looks because they're refusing to switch that. And then a couple of plays later, DeWanna Bonner gets a 3-point shot off a switch, and you're like, it's not the greatest thing in the world. And again, Bonner hitting a crazy up and under 3 that didn't count with a shot clock, but the game was there for the taking. Like, down 3 points, shot clock violation, Angel Reese playing they all play good defense, to be fair, and just unfortunately they weren't able to get the score. But all around, a positive game if you are a fan of the Chicago Sky, if you're a fan of Angel Reese, and it is just the case where, well, it's tough. It's tough with, like, when it comes to these regular season games, because if they're a 500 team, then that's not a bad year for the Sky. It's really not. Like, you can't expect them to win every game, but the fact is that they have played 3 good teams in their first 4 games. Like, Dallas are pretty good. They played 3 good teams in their first 4 games, and they're 2-2. So it's a lot better as far as record-wise than the Fever, who are 1-6. But at the same time, like, the only game where the Fever haven't played one of the best teams, of those 6 losses, 5 of them come to the Aces, the Sun, and the Liberty. So it's a really, really tough start, and I'm just assuming that they lose to the Aces because they're down 16 right now. But yeah, a really good game to start the day. A lot of drama, an awful lot of drama, and man, these vets are coming for these rookies. Like, people are saying, oh, they just want to compete. Man, they're coming hard for these rookies. That's all that I can say. Like, both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, the amount of cheap shots they've been hit with over the course of this season, the vets are going for them. And as long as nobody gets hurt, it's all good. But I'm just kind of hoping that no one gets hurt in this scenario. But yeah, honestly, good game. Good game. And Angel Reese continuing to have a good season. Like, if she averages around 13 and 8, even if it's not a double-double, and she averages around 13 and 8 for the season while leading the WNBA in offensive boards, that's an all-star level season. That's an unbelievable season. That is a Rookie of the Year season if Caitlin Clark didn't exist type season. But I do think as the season goes on, I'd say Clark is probably going to win that award. I'm watching his game right here, and regardless of the score of the game, they're playing the Aces, and the Aces are up for this game. The way the Fever are playing right now, they're going to get some wins, and Caitlin Clark is running the show. So I reckon it'll be a tough uphill battle for Angel Reese to climb, but unbelievable start to the year for her. Like, she's showing not only that she belongs in the league, that she is one of the better players in the league. And in this game right here, you can kind of see, okay, yeah, maybe she might be suited for a forward. Like, if she can get that jump shot going and a couple of drives from the elbow, like, yeah, she showed for the first time in this season, she's really showed, other than getting to the line, like, some sort of, like, take off the dribble, finishing okay. Like, even though it did kind of slow down as the game went on, started off on fire, and really, really positive signs. Like, it's hard to take losses as positives, but in a league where these are first-year players, and in reality, they're first-year players, and there's a 40-game regular season, there's no point when we're talking about these rookies and how they're going to progress in just looking at the wins and losses column, because that's not looking at basketball in its entirety. Because there are certain things in losses that over the course of a season, over the course of 5 seasons, are going to, like, you can show something in a loss that if you can continue to improve on over the course of 5 seasons, that will eventually become wins. And it's why I'm so not negative on the Indiana Fever the way they're playing right now, because they're actually looking like they're changing, but the way they're playing is actually pretty nice. But yeah, either way, Sky, really good start to the year, 2 each, tough loss, but you know what? Start of the season, it's not the end of the world.